Hey, what's up guys? So this is a follow-up video that I had put together before, which I will put an overlay link if you're interested in watching that first, as well as in the description for this video. That video we covered setting up an R730 with a Tesla P40 GPU and a NVIDIA 3060. And we got the installation complete. We did that at the hardware layer itself. This is going to be at the software layer. So what you can see here is we're running Proxmox 8. I know version 9 is out, and I would imagine it's going to be pretty similar in terms of what we need to do. But what this video is going to walk through is going to be the following. So the first thing, we're going to need to make sure that we can get updates because we're not using an enterprise license for Proxmox. The second thing is we need to prep the Proxmox host itself for the NVIDIA cards. We're going to be focusing on an Ubuntu virtual machine. So we're going to get an image for that and get it going there. And then this video is specifically going to cover the Tesla P40 because we're going to use that to use Ollama and OpenWebUI based on this virtual machine here. And then there will be a follow-up video for the 3060 with stable diffusion. And then we're just going to have some fun with Ollama and OpenWebUI. I'm going to show you how you can validate that the GPU is being used with some pretty nifty tools that come along with the drivers that we're going to go ahead and get installed on the Ubuntu virtual machine. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do is inside of Proxmox, we're going to go to our host. You can see that I have PVE1. And essentially here is where you can configure different things, right? So you got your system, right? Your DNS, your networks configs, your updates, your disks. We're specifically focusing on updates for right now, and then we're going to go into repositories. Now, because we are using a non-enterprise, license, right? We need to make sure that we add this guy in, right? It's download proxmox.com Debian PVE. It's pretty simple to do that. You just click add, and then from here you will be given the option to choose no subscription, and then you'll be able to add it. I can't add it because I already have it in there, but once you have it in, you'll see it listed here, and it'll get appended to your EDC APT sources list. And we're not really going to be messing around with the sources list DCEF list or the PVE enterprise list. Once you have this in here, you can validate that by going to your host and just doing like a apt update and apt upgrade. And this is what we're looking for. So I'm not going to update this right now, but you'll see things like Proxmox kernel, right, PVE. These all point to the fact that we can now get updates for Proxmox. So I haven't done this in a minute, but I know that my environment is in a functional state, so I'm not going to go ahead and make you guys sit through 1.5 gig of updates. But that's what we need to do. The second thing, after those are done, is we have to go through and set the host itself to be able to pass the video cards through to the hosts. Now, how we're going to do that is by modifying a set of files. The first one we're going to use, I'm a fan of Nano, but you can use any video editor you want. Some people like to use V, and I do not. So when you go in here, what we'll see, we're in etc default grub. What I did is I commented out the default, right? So this is what it is by default, and we're going to modify that by adding in this line here. So essentially we're just adding in the values that you can see present on the screen. So grub command line Linux default quiet until IOMMU equal on, IOMMU equal PT, PCIe underscore ACS underscore override equal downstream, comma, multifunction, no FB, no mode set, video equals a bunch of crap. Once you have this added in, and again, I'm going to be putting all of the commands in a blog post on ptnerd.com. I'll link that in the video, and I will put an overlay on that if I can figure out how to do it. So once you have that in there, we're going to close out of that file, right? I close it because it's already there. You're going to want to save it. The next thing that we're going to want to go ahead and do is just do update grub. I am not going to go ahead and do that because we already have it in play. And then the next thing that we're going to want to do is go into etc modules. And what you can see here is that we're adding 4 lines. Boom, 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 boom. So once we have those in there, you're going to want to do the same thing. Save your file. In my case, I already did. Now we're going to go into another file, and we're going to kind of hang out in here for a minute with a few of these different things. So within modprobe.d, we're going to modify several files. The first one being kvm.conf. I'm sorry. The first, well, it doesn't really matter. So we'll go in here first. And within here, what you want to do is add options, kvm ignore msrs equal 1. And actually, I'm not sure if you have to do this because I didn't do this for mine, and it works fine. So I'm going to just, nah, I'm good. Leave that one alone. So we're going to skip kvm conf. We're going to go into sticking with modprobe. Oh, you know what? I spelled it wrong. Modprobe.d. Let's go back into kvm.conf, and you'll see that I did have to add this line in here. So options kvm ignore underscore msrs equal 1. Then you're just going to go ahead and save that, and then we're going to go into iommu unsafe interrupts.conf, and then you'll see that we need to add a few things here. So options vfio underscore iommu underscore type 1, and then allow unsafe interrupts. So we're going to go ahead and make those changes and then save the file. The next one that we're going to go into is blacklist.conf, sticking with the modprobe.d. And you can see that we added these in here. I'm not 100% sure why we have to do this, to be completely honest with you, but this is what I had to do to get it to work. The next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is a list PCI, and we're going to do a verbose. And what we're going to do from here is we need to find our video cards. Now, I already know what my PCI ICQ addressing is, or IRQ addressing rather. But you can see here on 82:00, here is my Tesla P40, right? And then I know that on 03 is my 3060 NVIDIA. So you're going to need these addressing, because what we're going to do once you find your addressing is we're going to go into a folder, a file in modprobe.d called vfio.conf, and add in, well, I guess we don't have to do that because I didn't do this one. modprobe.d/vfio.conf. Skip it, you don't need it. And then the next one that we're going to go ahead and do is just an update intra MFS U. I'm not going to run this because I already did. And then once that's complete, you're going to reboot your Proxmox host. Okay, so rebooted. Proxmox is back up. The next thing you got to do is install a Ubuntu virtual machine. At least that's what I did. You can totally use containers, but given it was the first time, I wanted the UI. I don't really care. I wanted the UI. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is just use the appliance manager for Proxmox, right? And you're going to see that here are the available options that we have. So if we go ahead and do like a PVEAM available, if I could spell, boop, it's going to give you a list of all of the images that we can pull down, right? So in my case, what I did is I just pulled down like Ubuntu. So you just go and do PVEAM, and then we're going to do download, and then local. Like this is the storage repository, right? So local, oh, don't let me highlight it, that's fine. Local is going to be the storage repository that we want to download it to, and then the image itself is from here, and it'll go through and grab it. So let's say, for example, we wanted, I don't freaking know, I mean, there's so many different things to do it. Let's say we wanted to run a PHP bulletin board like it's 1995. You can go and you can do that, you hit enter, and then what it's going to do is it's just going to start downloading it. It's pretty simple stuff. So in this case here, I'm actually going to just cancel that out because don't really care. Now, once you have that in place, what we're going to go ahead and do is bounce on over to Proxmox, and we're going to just literally, you know, create a virtual machine, right? So just create, you know, right click PV1, create VM. But what we need to do with the virtual machine is we have to come over to hardware, right? And when we go into hardware, what you're going to see is we need to add the PCI device to be forwarded, because we want the GPU to be forwarded at the hardware layer specifically for our Ubuntu virtual machine to use, because this is what we want to handle the LLM GPU offload, right? We want our LLM instances to leverage our P40. So we're going to do a direct PCI pass-through. And if you can remember, the 82:00 matches up to what we saw when we did the LSPCI-V, and then we look through the list here for 82, because that's where mine is. Yours might be different, right? So we're directly passing the Tesla P40 straight through to this virtual machine by adding it here. Very important step. All right, the next thing, once you get Ubuntu installed and configured and all that, I'm sure you know how to do that. You don't need a walkthrough on that. It's very simple to do. Is we're going to go ahead and just log in here, and I can't authenticate. Please authenticate. Thank you. All right. And now what I have up here is a CPU screen, right? Now, if you are in here for the first time and you want to install Ollama, you can do it through the GUI, or we can do it through here, right? And to install Ollama, it is ridiculously simple. It's literally a one-liner. So you literally just go to Firefox or Chrome or whatever the hell you're using, and you go on, you know, Ollama install. First link should come up. Literally, this is it, right? You don't even have to go to the page. You literally just run a curl command like this. This is all you do. All you do, literally. That's it. Copy it, go over here, paste it, boom. Oh, because I was in a VM. I mean, essentially, it is that simple. It really is. So let's just, I know this is probably going to get me some shit, but essentially we're going to just do Ollama.com, install.sh, boom. Bum, bottom, bottom. It's going to go through. It's going to grab it. Just takes about a minute. And I'm actually doing this to see if I have an updated version available. But one of the other things I want to highlight here, which is why I'm actually letting the download run through, is there's a very important piece that we need to make sure shows up when it does the installation, because that's how we're going to know if it is going to be dumping the LLM onto the GPU VRAM. So there's something very specific that I'm going to be looking for in the output. So we're coming up on it being 100% complete. They did a really nice job with the install being completely simple. I do give them credit for that. All right. This is what we're looking for. See that? NVIDIA GPU install. That means that's going to offload the processing to the GPU. If you do not see this, you may have to install the drivers. Now, for the Tesla P40, what we go ahead and do for that is using something as simple as apt install NVIDIA driver 535. That's all I did. Now you may also want to put NVTop and NVIDIA SMI and have it install those as well. But let's give it a shot and see what happens here. Okay, so it doesn't find NVIDIA SMI, so I think we're going to get it included in the 535 package. So let's just go ahead. I already have it installed. Great, right? And then let's just make sure that we got NVTop, and we do. Now, what are those? So NVIDIA SMI is just a way to get an idea of what is cooking. So you can see that right now our Tesla P40 is only using 9 watts out of an available 250 watts. We can see that the processes that are tied to it is libxor, and we can see that we have about 24 gig of VRAM, GDDR5. Now, the other thing that we can do is something called NVTop. NVTop is a little more sexy. Essentially what it does here is it will show us the GPU offloading when we go and do our Ollama. But for right now, we're going to exit out of here. Boom. Now, the next thing that we need to do is install OpenWebUI. Now, also, very simple. We don't have to complicate things. If you go into your App Center, right, and there's 2 ways to do this. We could do it from the command line as well. So if you wanted to do it from the command line, you just do snap install open WebUI, and you'll see that it's already installed. Now, if it was installed, it would install it. That is it. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now, if you want to use it outside of the box itself, you may have to modify some firewall rules to get that going. But outside of that, it's pretty seamless. Now, let's check and go to our model now that we have it running, because that's it. It's not overly complicated. Where it gets fun is when you go through the process of using OpenWebUI. You can see here I was just testing some stuff out. Well, let's say we want to go and just do a new one, right? And then let's do a code snippet, and you'll see model not selected. Now, let me take a step back. The first thing that you do when you get OpenWebUI is you're gonna have to sign up for an account. Very simple to do. And then essentially you just log in with that. Bang. And now that we're logged in. Now, the first thing that we do is come up to settings, and you'll see that you can do different themes and whatnot. Connections, you'll see that we're using Ollama, and another way to validate that Ollama is running is you can go to it in a WebUI and it'll tell you that it's running. Great. Now, I didn't walk through how to install the models, but I will get to that. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure that the server connection is verified. In this case, they're both on the same virtual machine, so that works for us. With that said, if we want to go and get an LLM for this, right? So you can see here, these are the items that I have installed. You'll see that I put Gemma 3 latest, and you see that I have Qwen 2.5 Coder, Llama, Qwen 3, and Gemma. So How do I know what models I can install through Ollama? Again, very simple. If we go to Ollama, right, it's as simple as coming here, and then they literally have models, right? You go to models. These are what you can install: GPT OSS, DeepSeek, Gemma 3, Qwen. Now, you have a lot here, and you can install custom ones, but I'm not going to go bananas right now and go through doing that. But anyway, if it's listed here, you can install it. That's as simple as that. So let's say, for example, you wanted to put in, I don't know, let's say Dolphin 3 or Mistral Nemo. Let's do a fun one. Let's do Mixtral. That's all. We're going to just get Mixtral, right? How do we get that going? We come over here. We're going to do Ollama. Pull Mixtral. And it is as simple as that. Holy schmolies, this is 26 gig. But anyway, it's going to literally download it and it'll be available to use. Now, I will say that I was not aware that Qwen are Alibaba models. I am not a fan of DeepSeek or Qwen, as they are not, in my mind, safe. Now, I could be completely wrong, and I probably am. But I had a Chinese phone at one point, and I'm not going to name the manufacturer, but I got curious. And I started monitoring my outbound traffic through something called you can get a free no-root firewall, is the name of the app. And it'll show you all of your in and outbound connections. And one of the things that I found interesting is that this thing was continuously phoning home to Chinese WAN addressing, as well as the Alibaba cloud addressing. And that made me extremely nervous. So I immediately decided to no longer use the device. And I can't say for sure if Qwen and DeepSeek do that, but I just don't. Not for me. So anyway, the models are installed. That's how you get that going. But in order to test the model out, we come over here and let's just say, show me, I got to select a model. We're going to choose Gemma 3. And say, show me a code snippet. And if we come over to here, so we can see it's providing the information, right? It's very quick. It's nuts. And you don't have to worry about privacy issues or whatnot, because this is completely self-hosted, barring in mind my paranoia about the Chinese models. But with that said, if we wanted to validate, we can see here that our CPU isn't really going crazy, right? But if we come over here and we pull up, you know what? I'm not even going to do it from here. I'm going to do it from here so it's a little easier for you guys to see. I'm just down. I don't know. Let's cancel out of that. Sorry, buddy. So if we go into NVTop, all right, what we'll be able to do is now you can see Ollama is set to use the GPU, and we can see what's cooking there. So if we go here and we're going to go back to here and we're going to say, write me a Python script that scrapes YouTube latest music videos. I don't know. And then we come back over here. You can see the use, right? So we can see the wattage. So on a Tesla P40, we're averaging around 140 watts, 150 watts, 160. So it kind of bounces between, 140 and 160. And you know that it's using the GPU because we can tell the percentage that's being used. We can see that the data going through here, right? We're reading at around 70 meg. We're sending at about 70 meg. And we can see that our query finished because the processing finished. which immediately drops the power down. And we can see that we're only using about 20%. So from a performance perspective, people can laugh all they want, but that's not bad. Now, let's see here. This is what it gave me a whole bunch of good stuff. It gives explanations on it. I mean, it's fantastic. It really is, right? So let's say the next thing we want to do is just, write me a story with 5,000 words, make it a comedy, make it so that it's in first person perspective. Have fun with it. I don't fucking know. I mean, this is pretty much as fast as you would get from using a model, right? OpenAI or, Perplexity or ChatGPT or whatever. It's fairly fast. It's pretty impressive, and you can see the power draw actually isn't terrible. And if we really wanted to check that out even more, what we could do here, what we could do is just go to our server itself. We can see that it processes it, it offloads it. I mean, it's freaking sweet. It just works. But let's see if let's go and take a look at temperatures, right? So where are we right now? Our CPUs are running at around 90, right? 90, 80, 80. Okay, you can see where the warning threshold is, right? It's around 42. So we're not really anywhere near that. And you can see that critical would be a little under 49. So that's probably like 48 or 47. But if we wanted to go and get actual readings, we can do that too. These are accurate readings, but let's say we wanted to kind of get an idea of more of it. Let's see here. Those are the power supplies. Let's go through and get an idea of what our usage is here. So again, it's really not that bad. Let's see. Well, last hour, the max was 275 watts. Right? I mean, the current reading is 210. So it's really not bad. I'm actually surprised because when I was doing testing before, it was actually much higher. But I was using the 3060 with stable diffusion, which is kind of interesting to me because I would figure that the 3060 would use lower wattage than the P40, but that's not the case. It almost looks like the friggin' P40 uses less power than the 3060. Figure that shit out. It's got double the VRAM, and it has no fans. You could see that the peak when I was doing some initial testing on it was 531 watts, and that was with 3060. It's very interesting. Anyway, having said that, I hope that you guys find this video helpful. And in the next video, we'll cover the 3060 with stable diffusion. Thanks for checking it out, and I hope you guys have a great day.